All right, we've got the Thule AllTrail 22 L, and I think this solves a big problem that not a lot of other bags can do, which is being a solid day pack for hiking while also a travel-friendly backpack. If you're on some budget airline like Ryanair going international and you need something that's going to fit in their little personal bag size or at the airport and you're not going to get charged, I think this bag does it. When you take it, you have this rigid back, but after about this point onwards, that top part folds over, and now it's just about the right size. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it up with all the hiking gear that I would want on a trip, and I'm going to put it in a makeshift Ryanair sizer. I'm going to get the tape measure out and show you that I think this bag can do it all. It can fit, and honestly, it has features that I wish a lot of other bags on the market had. So looking at some of those features, for me, I wanted a hip belt, and this has it. But more importantly, A, it's a padded hip belt, but B, you can actually tuck it in when you're not using it. So it doesn't always have to have all this material flapping around. That was a big thing for me, because I'm not always going to be, strapped up like that. But I wanted to have both options. Second, it comes with a built-in reservoir, and also it has this magnetic attaching system. So you're always staying organized with your hydration hose. And I've never seen that before, but honestly, I really liked it. It's got the front stuff sack. It's got all these different attachment points for carabiners all along the front. Water bottle. It's got a main top compartment, and you've got, it's only down to about there, but you've got a few different organization options. And then you got the main pocket. And with the main pocket, I do wish it had a little more organization, but again, I think all the other features this offers, it makes up for it, because it's got the main compartment, and that's all you got. This is as far down as the opening goes, so one more gripe, I do wish it would open up a little deeper, but it is pretty good. And then you've got an organization pocket right here, and you've got your main water reservoir pocket. You also have the rain cover, and so I guess that's a pocket, but you're gonna have this in there most of the time. This is huge though, because I don't trust the DWR coatings on most bags. I think the water is gonna get through the zippers, and having a rain cover that can throw over top, that's big. I feel like the only other bag that really has that is the REI Trail 25, but this seems to be more feature rich, has a little more organization, a little more of a premium feel, and so I think that's why I'm going with the AllTrail. But let me stuff it full of a couple different things, fill up the water bladder, and then we can see how it fits and what the dimensions really are. All right, so I'm going to use some of these as actual things I would pack and then others as representation. So, for example, I've got a sleeping pad here, and I've got a bug net right here. These are going to represent a packable rain jacket and rain pant that I would have in my bag just in case I get caught in storms. And then I have a gas canister and a jet boil that I think is just nice to have, especially if you want to stop and have something warm, make some tea or something. First aid kit, I'm always going to grab that. Life straw, I like that. Even though you have the built-in water reservoir, you never know. Quick lighter. And then I have a hammock as well. Maybe I would bring this with me, or maybe this just represents other stuff that you'd bring instead. But I'm going to pack all this in the bag, and then we're going to see how it fits. So for me, I'm probably going to put the first aid kit right here in the top, because I always want that easily accessible. I'd probably maybe have my keys in there, a little snack. I'll put the light straw down below, but I will put the lighter in there. That's easy enough. And then I'm probably not going to put anything in this front pocket right now, this stuffed area. I would normally have a water bottle right here. I guess I could go get it, but if we're talking about fitting it for Ryanair, I would have the water bottle in my hand when I'm walking through security. So my make-believe rain jacket, make-believe rain pants, and these are big. Like this is probably bigger than what your rain gear would actually look like, but do that. Let's throw the jet boil in there. Let's get a gas canister. Definitely don't fly with this with Ryanair, but it is a good representation right now. I'm gonna take the life straw. I wonder if I can fit it in this little zippered pocket. I think I can. Yeah, I can do that. I don't think that's actually where I'll put it, but it'll fit in there, kind of out of the way. And then let's take the hammock and throw it on top. So as you can see, the bag is now pretty full. You could definitely fit one or two more things in the top here, but I'd be good with this. I think this is the most that I'd be bringing. I mean, if you're bringing more than this, you're probably going on a overnight trip. And at that point, I wouldn't be using a 22 L. I would be using a, 50 L or something. So we definitely got a chunky boy now. Let's go get our Ryanair sizer and see if we can make it fit. All right, so this is the moment of truth. Again, we left a little space at the top, and I think that's going to help us here, because what I want to do is compress down right there, and you're not really bending the back panel at that point, which is perfect. And then we're just going to throw them on in. And look, I know that this is a cardboard box, and it deforms just a little bit, but it's pretty close, and I'll show you here in a second. All right, so we're fitting in here. If I take the measuring tape out, once again. So right now we're measuring 17, but look, if I smush it down to 16, 16 and a half, it's totally fine. When we're talking about width, we want to see 7.8 inches. It's at 9 right now, but if I squeeze it down and actually made it like it was a rigid Ryanair sizer, we can squeeze, right? Like this bag can squeeze into that depth, or that width. And then again, it's actually going to be too deep. This is 11 inches when you go all the way down, and that's less than what the Ryanair would give you in depth. So a lot of the deformation that we're seeing in width, in length, that tiny amount, A, that could just be taken up by changing the shape and squeezing it, and B, we still have extra depth that we could be working with. And if you really want to see, look, you can close the top up, and here's your personal item. So I didn't fill up the water reservoir because I wouldn't be flying with a full water reservoir anyways, but I mean, you can see that this bag, even though the dimensions on paper are too quote-unquote big for what should fit in the Ryanair Sizer, I think the 22-liter capacity is perfect for a day pack, for hiking all day. Probably not camping, but you really could if you wanted to. And traveling around, going to Europe, going around the world, wherever you want to be, you're kind of knocking everything out of the park with this bag. And I mean, I'll show you real quick. I have all these other bags that I've been testing. And this is really the only one that does the job other than the REI AllTrail 25, which I just felt like it was lacking some features. Because again, this bag right now, we don't have anything here in the front pocket. I didn't even cinch it down now that I think about it. So we could have made this bag even smaller because we were talking about the width being a little big. And so, you know, just a lot of things that I feel like the REI bag doesn't have. And I'm pretty happy with this. So look, I'm going to be flying with this on Ryanair in about a month. I will certainly take pictures at the airport in the Sizer and make sure that there aren't any issues, but I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing right now. For reference, I'm 5'10", and so this is what the bag looks like. I feel like it's probably right on the edge of what they would say, like, hey, that's too big, go put it in the Sizer, and I'll say, sure, I'll put it in the Sizer because we know it's gonna fit. But it's pretty good. It bounces around a little bit when we're running. I might be able to cinch it down and, you know, play around with some of these so it stays on. But it's pretty good if you're thinking about trail running too. So just something to think about. We got this, and then, oh, look at that. It just kind of goes magnets back onto where it should belong. So I think that's really cool. And yeah, I'll update once I actually fly with Ryanair and make sure that this thing passes the official test, but I'm pretty happy with it. That's the Thule AllTrail 22. 25 probably is going to be too tall, but it could work. It's basically the same exact backpack, just with like a top cover over top. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll test it out, I'll measure it, I'll do whatever we need to do to make this the ultimate travel bag.